Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Susan Lynn. I'm a psychic and a medium. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm kind of chuckling because as I was getting ready to do my intro, my spirit guide said, you're their favorite psychic medium. I was supposed to say, hello, everybody. Welcome to my channel. I'm Susan Lynn, your favorite psychic medium. And I was just shaking my head going, who are these people? I think I need a new spirit guide PR. But anyway, let's get started. I asked for your political questions to ask my very saucy spirit guides. And here we are. I am answering them for you. If you're new here, thanks for joining me. I am channeling this. I'm a conscious channel. So I'm 60% Susan, 40%. See, they're always tricking me. I don't know how this is going to go today. I do not know how this is going to go today. Okay. I'm 40% Susan, 60% spirit guides. Right now, perhaps I'm 60% because I'm giving them some grief. So that could be true, right? But when I answer your questions, I really am 60% them, 40% me. You can see it if you watch closely. When I'm laughing, you can see me laugh and then whoop, come right back and be serious for the next question. If you watch closely, you can see when I come in more and when I go out more. It's subtle, but you can see it. So let's get started. You guys can post your questions on my main YouTube channel page under community tab. You'll see where I've called for questions, and you can still put questions because I'm pretty sure there's going to be a part 2. So we got some great questions here today, and I think they're going to be kind of helpful for you to get a heads up about, because our political situation is literally a 5-alarm dumpster fire here in the United States of America. So let's get started. Sandy Ott says, do I still get the energy reading on Putin, or do I get an energy reading on Putin? So she's implying when she goes to check his energetic pulse, it's weak. She says, I feel that he has been fading energetically. I agree with you, Sandy. And Sandy is very much connected. She's an energy reader, healer, so she knows what she's talking about. I will tell you guys, don't practice on Putin, right? If you're new to this, don't just go tiptoeing through the dead daisies in Putin land, right? It's heavy energy. He's very, very skilled in psychic attack. That's what they just told me. And I know people personally who have been attacked by him. Is it personal? No. Does he have like 1,000 gross energy wraiths that protect him? Yes. Will they come and stomp on your nice little energy? Yes. Will they kill you? No. You're just going to have bad dreams and you're just going to be harassed. Who wants that? Nobody. Do not go into his energy. I often joke, not really, that I have to put an energy hazmat suit on before I go into his energy. Even if you do that, I told you guys in the last video, he will dupe you. He'll send you erroneous information just to send you on your way. Other countries really believe in psychic abilities. They embrace them. Israel embraces them. Well, the United States embraces them, but we lock all those people up in some kind of crazy building in the CIA and nobody even gets to hear from them again, right? But in other countries, it's much more common. It's much more public. So don't go looking in those places, because you might come back with some kind of, what did they call it? A spiritual STD. I got it. These guides are on fire today. We're going to have to all calm down. I feel like I should put all like it's a romper room, and I should put all the guides in corners. Everybody sit down and be quiet. Okay. Woo. Let's see. Right off the bat too. Let's see. Yeah, I've been feeling, as a matter of fact, I did a live video. It was a lot of fun with Kevin Chandler, Kevin's Loving Vibrations, and Mel Dore. And that was one of the questions. And I got a feeling about Putin was going to go before Trump. Now, I feel that they're energetically attached with a long, gross cord, the kind of rope, it's in the water and it gets all slimy and you have to pull it up and you're like, why am I touching this? Well, here we go again. Don't touch it. Anyway, I'm not saying that it's direct, that one goes down and the other one goes down immediately, but they're connected. So within a year, 6 months to a year, they're saying one goes down, the other's going too. What a wonderful celebration we will have. So when I go into his, what I do is I use a proxy. I use some other not so smart spirit guide that wants to go in there and tangle with that information. So I, and you can call in Archangel Michael. You can call in a proxy spirit guide to go get the information. Let's say there's a coworker. Why am I telling you this? Who are these spirit guides? What do y'all have to close this video down? So chaos in here. Why would I be talking about somebody going and checking on their coworker for real? They're like, well, this is useful information. Who is the mob? I got the spirit guide mob in here. Okay, let's just say, since I started it, that you wanted to check out your coworker, but you need to be careful, in Susan's opinion, because there are ethics here. Whoever the heck that one is going to get fired. But anyway, Edward R. Murrow going to be pulling that one aside. Smoke in your face. Anyway, I'm trying to get control of this out of control energy. Let's say you got a situation at work and you want to know more about the person or the boss. Why don't you just ask your spirit guides to go check it out and then get back to you? That way you're not breaking any ethical rules and they don't know you're snooping. You didn't hear from me. Okay, let's move on. Sandy, yes, I think that Putin is on the out. He's waning. His energy is waning. Right now, I still feel like Putin's going to go first. Trump is going to go last. I don't know what it's almost like they're energetic twins. You know what I mean? And I've said this before. One cannot breathe air on the earth for long if the other one is not breathing air on the earth. I don't know what their age difference is, but once they got here, they kind of signed some contract with a real shady dude, and now look where they are. Okay, let's move on. Yes, I do think he's fading. There's another question about Russia. I'll get to what happens when Putin's gone, all of that. I will get to that. Okay, let's move. Oh, your other question was, will the U.S. send jets to Ukraine in order to end this war once and for all? Yes, the spirit guides have told you guys, jets, fighter jets, F-16s, game over. They've been saying this for months. When Ukraine gets the F-16s, it tips the whole thing to Ukraine's favor, and Russia will say uncle. Perhaps maybe Putin crosses over, and that also sort of hastens all of that energy. If nothing else, I see them being able to protect from these missiles. It's just game over. The guides have been saying that for a long time. And now we have real evidence that this is happening, because we know through public channels that Ukrainian fighter pilots have been learning English in various states, various countries. So we know this is happening. We know they're going to get F-16 fighter jets, if from the United States or from someplace the United States has sold them to. So yeah, it's all in the works right now. It's all in the works. Okay, let's move on. Donna L says, Liz Cheney is teaching at the University of Virginia Law School. Will she be running for office from Virginia? So you guys, Donna, you may be referring to the fact that I channeled that Liz Cheney could be moving to a different state and then throwing her hat in the ring from that state, because she cannot get any traction in her home state of Wyoming. She is blacklisted, blocked. It's a no-go. She's just not going to do it. Now, Virginia is not the state that I would think, but it puts her close to DC. It puts her close to the action. She wants to be in the action. She wants to be, I don't know what that word is. She wants to be relevant. She wants to be relevant. She doesn't want to be stuck over in some, middle of nowhere place. She wants to be where the action is. Will she throw her hat in the ring? Will she? Well, so she's changing her residence to Virginia, right? Okay. This all makes sense to what the guide said, right? Will she throw her hat in the ring and run in Virginia? She might be, I don't know how close this is, but she might be living in Maryland. She might run in Maryland. She's looking at her options right now. But yes, this is step one. I believe there's 3 steps. She has a 3-step plan. So she could teach at Virginia Law School for 2 years and then move to Maryland, or even like Rhode Island. I mean, not Rhode Island. Rhode Island's very D. I don't know, guys. She's got a plan. She's a Cheney, but this is step one. The guides told you last week, and here she is already doing it. So the plan is in motion. If you don't know how I feel about Liz Cheney, do what Kevin Chandler does. It's like, don't ask her about Liz Cheney, because I get triggered. But I will say this, that Liz Cheney wants this version of the Republican Party to go bye-bye. And, we all agree with her, right? We all agree with her. So this means to me that we're one step closer to that happening, because she's positioning herself. Once the Republican Party implodes, which I see to be happening in 24, if not, I think 24, when it starts really imploding, she'll be in perfect position. So I believe for her, that's 25, 26. None of these people want to be around while it's imploding, because there's going to be a lot of blame. There's going to be a lot of finger pointing, and nobody wants to be around that, right? You don't want to be in that mix. So she's going to position herself. She's positioning herself. And yes, I do think she'll run from one of those states right there nearby. Okay, so Wicolia says, have we had the table flip moment, or is it still on the way? So this is obviously a long-term viewer. Thank you so much for your support. The spirit guides talked about a table flip, literally a flipping of the table. Some people have likened it to Jesus flipping the table on the moneylenders or whatever. I don't know. I'm not religious whatsoever. However, I saw the table flip moment. Now, you guys, without going too deep into this, the timeline changed because I saw, and I told you guys, I'm very transparent with all of this. I told you guys that I thought that Atlanta would be ground zero. They were correcting me, and they're saying Atlanta is ground zero. But I thought I saw Fani Willis taking down Lindsey Graham. And then I told you guys before it was announced, the guides told me he wasn't going to be on that indictment list. And that's when I knew the timeline had changed. What does that mean? Well, it means, frankly, that we all have free will. Fani Willis has free will. Jack Smith has free will. Other prosecutors have free will. Biden has free will. And the consensus was, well, it's bigger than that. But anyway, the consensus is that Fani Willis was not the one to take down MTG, Gates, and Lindsey Graham. That's what I saw. That's the timeline I saw. That's what kept my equilibrium in check, because once you take down these Congress people and a few senators, everything I see happening, that's kind of the nuts and bolts of how I saw it happening. Now, if Fani Willis isn't going to take them down, are they going to get off? Or is Jack Smith going to take them down? Because if they get off, then I'm going to be up on here telling you a whole new timeline, and I might be crying. And I'm not saying because I want them to be in jail. I'm saying that if we don't jail these people, if we don't at least indict them, get them before a jury and give the jury a chance to convict them, then our timeline is effed up. And I mean effed up for 10 years. But I don't see that. Okay. So I've seen how this movie ends. And I know without a doubt that's how it ends. In case you're wondering, the guides predicted the 2 senators being elected in a special election in Georgia. The guides predicted Biden was going to win. The guides predicted we would not be in a recession, even though just right now, some of these people are saying, looks like we might not be in a recession. Hello, the guide's been saying this for a year. So I'm just saying the spirit guides have a pretty good track record. Now, I'm not telling you they're not going to get indicted. What I'm telling you is that Jack Smith is going to do it. I'm telling you that however we get there, we're going to get there. Where is there? Well, there is with Trump out of the picture. Either he's crossed over or he's in his McDonald's happy place that I see him in, his Gitmo kind of containment. I never see him in jail. I've never seen him with prisoners. I've always seen him in a Gitmo type place or a rubber room with like one room or two rooms, no cell phone, no internet, reruns. I think we should personally do reruns of Hillary Clinton speeches. But anyway, maybe we can make that happen. But anyway, he has no connection to the outside. That's the important thing. So I also see in the end result, Marjorie Taylor Greene going down, Matt Gaetz going down, Jim Jordan going down, 8, I feel like 6 to 8 elected officials, be they a combination of Congress people and senators. Some people have seen 12 to 15. I'm conservative. So the reason this keeps my equilibrium is when these people go down, it brings the rest of the Republican Party to the center, not to the center, but closer to the center. We get rid of the Freedom Caucus. All of a sudden, the Freedom Caucus is a pariah. If you're still in Congress and you're a Freedom Caucus wannabe, you're a nobody. You have no power. This is the way forward. Okay. Now, that's the table flipping moment. When we get rid of these people, that's why Liz Cheney is positioning herself on the East Coast, because she wants to be in position that when the Republican Party implodes, and this is what I'm talking about, is 8 to 10 to 15 of these people go to jail or at least lose their seats. That's the end of the Republican Party as we know it. Now, there are other possibilities that it's even worse, but I'll take that. That's my minimum for us to get back to some kind of semblance of a democracy. Okay. So I think that's the table flipping moment. And I think that is in 24. And I'm going to do a longer video because the guides, this is really heavy energy and they want to talk to me about it. And they can go on, as you know. So I'll do a longer video, but let's just say that in 24, that's when, what are they saying? I don't even know what kind of analogy that is. It's something about the Pied. I swear to God, they've got this mixed up. The Pied Piper meets its maker. The Pied Piper meets its maker. If you can decode that, leave a message in the comments, please. Because I swear they do get the words right a lot of times, but sometimes they mix up things. And I'm like, I don't know if that's, but anyway, maybe that makes sense. Maybe that'll make sense. The Pied Piper could be Trump. Meeting his maker could be crossing over. So that could be what they're talking about, right? The Pied Piper plays now they want to describe it. The Pied Piper plays the flute and gets all the cronies to follow him, and maybe they'll all follow him across the other side. I don't know, y'all. I'm going to leave it there before I get in too much trouble. And by the way, this is for entertainment purposes only. And just assume I'm saying allegedly in front of everything. Okay, let's move on. Crystal Dragon Woman says, what's the best approach to counteract the Biden is too old meme? First of all, let me save you a lot of years off of your life or give them back to you by telling you you can't fight with these people. They're completely nonsensical. There's no common sense. You cannot argue with them. Now, let's say that a Democrat is telling you that. Well, then I would tell you to say that in this last week, Biden has been touring India and Vietnam and everywhere. And Peter Doocy from Fox News, who is really Biden's, nemesis, is always bugging him and asking things that are just don't even make sense. Biden is tangled with him a few times even. Peter Doocy's on Fox News saying Biden's been pulling all-nighters. He's been working around the clock, and that's on Eastern time frame, meaning that this guy is, working 24 hours a day, and he's 24 hours with jet lag. In India, he's 20 hours ahead or whatever it is, right? So Peter Doocy accidentally paid Biden a huge compliment. And then he paused and looked at the camera like, what did I just say? How did I just say the truth? My God, they fed me truth serum. You know what I mean? So you can't argue with these people. Just don't even argue with them. Let it go. And for those of you who are wondering how he's doing, he's working 24 hours a day. I do get this sense of urgency from Biden, this sense that the clock is ticking, that he needs to get as much done as possible. I don't think Biden hires psychics. God bless him. If he did, he would know he's going to win in 24, but he may not know that. So he's thinking, I've got a year to get this stuff done, and I've got to work super, super hard. So, don't argue with them, but he's doing fine. He's really probably doing too much. Let's move on. Thank you for your question, Crystal Dragon Woman. A Healer Within has a couple of questions for us. Will the U.S. be able to stop Elon Musk from continuing to align with foreign adversaries while living in our country? He acts as a foreign agent. Well, the problem is, listen, and there's probably like 5 of you guys in the questions asking about Elon Musk. Apparently, he has finally pissed all of y'all off. He pissed me off a long time ago. We're not at war with Russia. If we were at war with Russia, he would already be probably sitting inside of jail cell somewhere, or he would gone back to South Africa where, maybe he belongs. But he's walking the line, let's say, like Tuberville is. Tuberville might as well be one as well, right? Now, I would tell you guys that I don't see Musk getting in any trouble. Maybe with what was that? God darn. They showed me who's the organization that controls or oversees the federal communications. Anyway, I see him getting in trouble with some governmental agency that deals with our airwaves, whatever that is. But I don't see him getting in any political, any police, any judicial trouble at all. He is a problem. He's a real problem for the United States. He's worked his way in. The guides used to talk about the Trojan horse all the time. And here we are. This guy's a real Trojan horse. He's inside our space program. He's inside so many programs that the United States relies on. So he's really a problem. And I think that he'll be held accountable in the court of public opinion, but not in the court of law. Now, I'm not saying, I do see him interacting with foreign countries, but I don't think they have anything right now today, in September. I don't see that they have anything on him that's enough to take him to give him an indictment. Let's put it that way. Okay. But the court of public opinion, people are going to stop buying Teslas. People are going to start turning against him. He might be ousted from his board. He might be ousted off of the board. There are other ways to handle him, the guides are saying. He's going to have a fall from grace. There are other ways to deal with him. So, yeah, that's good. I thought you had more than one question, A Healer Within, but maybe I put it someplace else. Okay, let's go forward. Ruthie62 says, What will be the outcome of this meeting between Putin and Kim Jong-un? How will the results affect the United States? Well, I don't see the results of that meeting affecting the United States directly at all, to be honest with you. I see the results potentially affecting Ukraine in the sense that Kim Jong-un could give Putin some military help, some weapons, and Putin could give North Korea some food assistance. Sadly, probably the grain they stole from Ukraine will go to North Korea. The other question the guides are saying is, why is Putin still on the Security Council? How can we have a guy on the UN Security Council meeting with North Korea, right? When are we going to do something about that? When are we going to hold Putin accountable and throw them off of the Security Council? They should not be on the Security Council having attacked Ukraine. So and when I ask that question, I feel that there are countries on the Security Council that are maneuvering, what's the word, when you making deals and maneuvering to get enough energy and power to vote him off of the council. That's more of a problem for the United States and the world, to be honest with you. But the outcome of the meeting is Putin's getting weapons and artillery and what are those things, like shell casings or missiles, ammunition, and North Korea is getting sustenance. I don't know what that is, potatoes or rice, something white, probably potatoes, but also grain. Okay, let's move on. Thank you for your question. Woods Witch says, this November, will Ohio pass the amendment to their state constitution allowing abortion? I get yes, and I heard handily. Anything could change between now and then, but right now the energy very much supports this. It's like a slam dunk. So you can better believe that if the energy is really strong, and to me it's energy, but to other people it could be polling. And I always say don't trust the polling, but there are companies that do polling you can trust. It's called advertisers. They know what you're going to buy before you know you're going to buy it. They start sending you ads for it because you talked about it to your friend on your cell phone, right? The way to get the information is there. The thing we can't trust is the polls that are being published are wrong. They're trying to sway our opinion. So in this case, these entities, these groups will be getting correct polling. Now, what does that mean? That means that they're going to start what they do. They're going to limit voting places. They're going to start voter intimidation. They're going to throw people off the voting rolls. They're going to have a full court press against this. So as we get closer to that vote, look, that has an effect. And when you go to the polls and you're not listed on the poll, or you go to the poll and they say, oh no, you can't vote here, you have to drive 30 minutes. Or you get to the poll and it's closed and they said, we ran out of ballots, you're going to have to drive 30 minutes. A certain percentage of those people are not going to drive 30 minutes. Perhaps they had every intention of driving 30 minutes and they got a call from their kid and their kid had to be picked up from school. We're still living our lives. Even if they can delay somebody by 5 or 10 minutes, there's a possibility that person's not going to make it to the poll through not saying they gave up, but something happened that they really had to attend to. So these things really work. And if they can do enough, if they can muster enough of that, they can affect the outcome of this amendment. Right now, it's a slam dunk. When we get closer, it'll probably be less of a slam dunk, depending on those types of irregularities or types of things that they do. I have to be careful with some of the words I use. Okay, let me move on. But right now it's a slam dunk. Search for Truth 1111 says, did Tommy Tuberville play a part in the insurrection? How about we add the word allegedly so nobody gets in trouble here? Allegedly, did Tommy Tuberville play a part in the insurrection? He knew about it. Play a part could mean any number of things. He knew about it. He was in on it. The guides are saying the words, he was in on it. Did he get a flagpole and storm? Apparently not. He didn't storm the steps of the Capitol, but he did play a part in that he knew about it. The guides are using the words aid and abetted. Allegedly, he aided and abetted something. So if you ask me, those are words that attorneys use when they take somebody to court and they're talking to a judge about sedition. So you can draw your own conclusion. Okay, let's move on. Pauline, how are you doing, Pauline? Is Kushner going to get a subpoena? Am I going to have a Christmas? Let's see. The guides are saying he already got a subpoena, so I think he's already been subpoenaed. So the answer is yes. However, I think what you really mean is he going to, if you don't mind, Pauline, I'd like to change your question to, will Kushner go to jail? I always go for the win. And it makes my spirit guides roll their eyes. I wasn't going to ask that question, but I was going to ask the question, will he go before a judge? Will he go before a judge? Yeah, I'm hearing plea deal. And I think there's a good chance he could go to jail. I think there's a good chance, a really good chance, like 85% chance he's going to jail. That's a pretty good chance. Even if he does a plea deal, he's still going to jail. So I think I will have a Christmas. Okay, so let's move on. Marie Wilkes says, what's going to happen with the student loan situation? Well, as you know, the government's already forgiving loans, and it turns out that, and the media is just MIA. The media is MIA. I'm going to do a whole video on the media being MIA, because I heard a little report that it's built into the law that if your student loan is 25 years old and you still owe X amount on it, that it's forgiven. But nobody was administering the program until Biden got in office, and he's like, this is the law. We got to start forgiving these student loans. So it was already written into a law, folks. We've already done it once. We can do it again, can't we? Right? It's just like banning assault rifles. We did it once. We can do it again. So what I see with the student, the first thing is I can do it. I can say the word interest. The interest rate is too high. It's literally, this interest rate was not legal. This was an interest rate this high used to not be legal, is what the guides want to say. We're going to adjust the interest rates. We're either going to knock the interest rates down, which is the reason why nobody can pay off their loans. You're paying off the minimum. It's kind of like a credit card. If you pay the minimum, you're never going to ever pay it off, right? Because it's compound and compound and compound. Well, the student loans are even worse, I want to say. So they're going to address the interest rate, because what's happening is people are just paying the minimum and they're just saying, I'll just die with my student loan. I don't care. Well, think back to the 50s when people had a house with one paycheck, and now we're going to die with debt. So this is a big FU, right? Like, Americans don't care anymore. We don't care anymore. We understand that, and this is Gen Z for real. Gen Z understands nothing. They got nothing. They're going to get nothing. They're not planning on getting anything, so they don't care. So go ahead. I'll pay the bare minimum of your interest, and you can shove it up your rear end because I'm not paying it, right? When I die, you can come look me up on the other side, right? So given this attitude, the banks, the federal government, everybody is going to have to sit down and rework it, because this attitude up here is affecting the Gen Z down here. And the Gen Z is like, we're not working. We're going to make the bare minimum because we want to live our life. We want to love our life. We saw our parents and our grandparents work 2-3 jobs and they still have school debt. No, thanks. We're not signing up for that. So it's broken. It is broken. And you're going to find that these kids are not going to take out loans. They're not going to go to school. Game over. So what do the guides always tell you? The Republicans break it, the Democrats fix it. So the Republicans broke this. The Democrats will come in and fix it. That's what's going to happen. And, again, go to the beginning of the video. When these people are arrested and indicted and convicted, all these Republicans are going to come to the center or closer to the center. You're going to see a wholesale change in their attitudes. And that's how we're going to get these big bills passed. Of course, we can't get them passed right now. But when Marjorie Taylor Greene is wearing stripes, yeah, we're going to get these bills passed. We're going to be getting down to business. Okay, let's move on. Red Tails YouTube wants to know what's up with COVID. Now, I want to tell you guys, I'm not a doctor. This is not doctor advice. This is not medical advice. Go see your medical professional. Do not listen to me. Okay? Now, we can talk. What the guides tell me about COVID is there's obviously an uptick in COVID right now. They want to tell me it's because of school. It's because everybody's coming back together. Some businesses are requiring you to go into work. Mostly it's the schools. Whenever school goes back in session, we often have a huge uptick in the flu and various other communicable things, right? So this is why this is happening. There are new variants. They have not, this is what my guides are saying. Please talk to your doctor. Do not listen to me. These variants are just not doing it. Even if they're more virulent, they're not a virulent. Okay, a virus that is really deadly doesn't last long because it kills the toast. So a successful virus like the cold doesn't kill its host, and it can replicate and live happily ever after. The really deadly ones kill their host, game over, virus is gone, human is gone. Didn't work real well. So they try to change, mutate to be less virulent. This is what's happening with COVID. COVID is going to be less virulent. Now, the problem with COVID, in my opinion, is long COVID. But the guides are saying we understand a lot more about it now. I think overall, we're going to do a much better job of dealing with it. I think that the vaccines work. If you can't get the vaccine, don't get the vaccine. Wear a mask if you need to wear a mask, if you feel more comfortable wearing a mask. But overall, the guides are telling me humans are developing immunity. Are we going to be immune? No. We're going to work with COVID to make it more like the flu, is what the guides are saying. People die from the flu every year. People will die from COVID every year. But it's not going to be a showstopper. It's not going to stop us. It's not going to shut us down. I don't see another outbreak that shuts us down. I personally, my spirit guides, I don't see that. Not going to happen. We've got immunity either through the vaccines or getting COVID or the combination of the two. Use precaution is the best I can tell you. I don't see a big outbreak. I just don't see it. So let's move on. Karen Stenius. Okay. Will the government shut down? Well, we have this thing coming up where it's not the debt ceiling, but it's the budget. My guides say yes, but essential personnel will not shut down. So I think you're still going to get your checks, or they may be delayed, but I think you're still going to get them. I don't see you. I think I feel like checks are delayed. That's what I feel like. I don't know why, but that's what they're like Social Security, Medicaid, whatever checks people get. I feel like there might be a delay. I feel like they always talk about with the debt ceiling, they said, we're going to get to the cliff, but we're not going to go over it. we were going to get to the 12th hour, but we weren't going to go over it. That's exactly what happened. Oh, now they're telling me we're going to go over the cliff. It might be a stunt by the Speaker of the House. But, you know, I want you guys to understand. And here's another question. I don't think you guys asked it, but, you know, will they impeach Biden? They're not going to get the votes to impeach Biden. Are they going to play at it? Yes. Are they going to pull some stunts? Yes. None of this is going to go without punishment. Okay. They're not going to get away with this. You can't shut down the United States of America over your own personal BS like Tuberville is doing. They will be punished. Okay. In whatever ways, maybe not legal, but they will be voted out, or the public sentiment will turn against them. They will be punished. They will be alienated. They're not going to get away with this. So they may do it, but they're not going to get away with it. In the end, there will be a price to pay. Okay. But I do think there will be some kind of short shutdown, not a long shutdown, but a short shutdown. And I will just add to that. There's this energy, and right now the auto workers are getting ready to possibly go on strike. There's this energy of the United States is on strike. I can't tell you, I'm seeing big strikes happening in the fall all the way into Christmas. The people are not happy. We're not being represented, right? These Republicans don't represent a majority. They represent a minority. They got in by hook and crook and gerrymandering. They don't represent their people. The people are getting fed up with everything that's happening, and they're going to get in the streets. They're going to strike. So there's just a lot of energy around striking. And when I went into the government shutdown, that's the energy I saw, is just one shutdown after another. Now, Biden could step in the way he did, if you remember, with the railroad workers. He stepped in and said, I'm sorry. You have to go back to work. You're too important to the United States of America. You have to go back to work. Now, he did that after he brokered a really good deal for them. It just wasn't good enough for the members. And the members finally said, no, we're not going to do it. And then Biden said, I'm sorry, you have to go back to work. So there could be some situation with some striking group that Biden says, no, you have to go back to work. But there's a lot more that he doesn't have that kind of purview over. So just be aware of that energy. Okay. So let's move on. Gail Cross says, will Florida get rid of DeSantis, and will Florida be able to recover from all of the horrible things that DeSantis has done and enacted upon the state? Or is Florida happy with what he has done in regards to education, recovery from hurricanes, and his utter hate? I don't think Floridians are happy with DeSantis. When you take in the whole energy of Florida, they're not happy with DeSantis, but he still has several years left on his governorship, and there's this energy of just enduring, of being just, we have to endure this. There's nothing we can do about it. We're going to endure it. That's interesting to me, because that's not the energy of the United States. The United States is about to be, F all of you, we're walking off the job. So whereas Florida seems to be in some sort of hostage crisis where they've decided that they need to be nice to their hostage taker, the rest of the country is like about to just go haywire and say, screw it all. We're tired of this. We're not going to put up with this. I mean, I see kids walking out of schools, teachers walking out of schools. I see something around healthcare, some kind of strikes around healthcare. So it's just interesting to me that Florida doesn't have the energy. They don't have the energy. They keep getting with hurricanes. Inflation is high there. They can't get insurance. I mean, they're just beat down. They're literally beat down. Their fight is gone at the moment. I don't feel that the majority of Floridians are happy with DeSantis. I think they're just so tired. However, who's not tired is Mickey Mouse. Disney. Disney's not tired, and Disney's still aiming for DeSantis. So even though the people are tired, I feel like there's other bigger entities going after DeSantis. I don't see him lasting the rest of his term, which is 2 or 3 more years. I don't see that. He's out. The man is out. I've been telling you guys that for a while. I know it's taken a long time, but you don't want to take 45, you don't want to take Trump or DeSantis to court and lose. You don't want to do that, because then it's over for all of us. Democracy has been on trial and lost. Okay, we don't want that. So when they take these people to court, they're going to make sure that it's 100% fatal. That's 100% guilty verdict. So that's why it's taking them a little longer. But believe me, DeSantis is out, I feel, in 24. And your question, and I'm going to end it after this and start part 2. Please look for part 2. Leave me your comments down below. Your second question is anything going to happen to Jenny Thomas? She's another one that triggers me. Her sneer, she has like this sneery smile that's really infuriating. Anyway, what's going to happen? Will anything happen to Jenny Thomas? Well, I see her being unhappy, sidelined. I see her being pushed off to the side, which is going to make her unhappy, because she likes to be in the middle. She likes to be right in the middle of things. She doesn't like to be, she's not one of those people that would be dark money. Like, here's some money, go do the bad deeds. She wants to be in the middle of the bad deeds, allegedly. So, she's being sidelined. Will she go to jail? Will she go to jail? Well, Jenny Thomas, look, even for a parking ticket, will she go to jail for any reason? Jaywalking. I'll take anything. No. I get no. But she will be muzzled and sidelined, because one of these attorneys is going to pull her aside and say, and this is what happened. Oh, well, it's a whole different thing. But anyway, they were just reminding me, this is what happened in Texas. The Attorney General Paxton is being, he's on trial in the Texas Senate. And one of the people testifying against him said, I told him I think this was a state trooper. A state trooper said, if you keep doing what you're doing, you're going to get an indictment. Well, he got 5 indictments. So this is what the spirit guides are telling me about Jenny Thomas, that somebody comes up to her and says, you're about a hair's width away from getting an indictment. Go over there and sit down and shut up, muzzled. What is that? Sidelined. Go over there and muzzled. So if she follows those rules, who knows if she can, but if she does, she kind of gets off scot-free. I know that infuriates you and infuriates me. We have a reason. We have a way for you to air your complaints called 1-800-SPIRIT Guides. Press 1 for complaints. It's always busy. But anyway, I just tell you what I get. It's not always what we want to hear, but this is what I get. If she goes to jail, I'll be thrilled to be wrong. Thank you so much for watching this video. Appreciate you so much. And leave me a comment. Let me know what you think in the comments. I still have some questions to cover. One of the questions is that I'll cover in part 2 is, will Trump have to give the money back that he made from his mugshot from Fulton County, Georgia jail? Another question is, why isn't Lindsey Graham indicted? So there's some really good questions that I'm going to be covering in part 2. And one of the questions is, will the Trump kids go to jail? So there's some good things going on. Update on Ukraine, update on Gloria Johnson and the Tennessee 3, update on Social Security. All of that will be in part 2, which will be out in a few days. Subscribe, hit the notification bell, and you'll know when I have a video out. It's that simple and it's free. Take really, really good care of yourself. I'll talk to you soon. For entertainment purposes only.